The need to control what other people think is a prison. It's very similar to the idea that we think I have money, but actually, usually money has us. Or I have a house, but usually the house has us. But let's just talk about this idea. You're having an argument. Or, let's take it even further. You had the argument maybe a year earlier, and it's still coming up for the other person. They're still, I don't want to say throwing it back in your face, because that implies that they are all bad and you're all good. Let's just say you said some words that maybe you could have modified slightly and avoided everything that happened after that. And literally a divorce could happen due to something that you said, like 3 words that you said at one point when you were having a lot of stress or physical or headache or anything, and that could stick in that person's mind as how you really are, what you really think all the time. And maybe it is. Maybe in your shadow you are always thinking that. In any case, if you want them to admit that they are wrong in some way, you're trapped. And it helps if you're not trying to hold on to that relationship, obviously, because then it's much easier for you to say, oh, I'm so sorry I said that. And you're free. If you're trying to hold on to the relationship, if you have any attachment of any kind, then you're going to want them to admit their part. And then you're trapped. So, it's not I don't think it's a step-by-step formula. It's just I'm putting this out there to say, as long as you're aware that your need for another person to believe something is your prison, then you're one step closer to getting out of that prison. It doesn't mean you're automatically going to be let free, because there are so many mechanisms at play. They're going to say, yeah, I know, I'm trapped by it, but they're really wrong and they need to admit it. And the freedom that comes when you're like, I don't need them to know that they're wrong. I don't even know if they're wrong. Maybe everyone's wrong. That's a huge amount of freedom. It's not attachment. You don't need them to control what you think about the situation, what they think about the situation. You can finally have compassion for everybody. You can finally be present. As long as you need to control what another person thinks, especially what they think about you or something that you said or something that you did or didn't do, as long as you need to be right, you're in prison. But as soon as you're like, you know what? I don't need them to think a different way. I can apologize for my part in it. I don't need to say it's my part in it. I can just simply say, oh, I'm sorry I said that. Or I'm sorry I did that. Or sorry I didn't do that. Then you're free. You know, they don't have to accept your apology. That's their business. But you're just saying, look, I'm done defending myself. I'm done trying to control what you think. And this feeds into also attempts to control the future. If you're trying to control the people and what they think, it's only natural that you're also going to try and control the future, because you're also trying to control what your own superego or your negative controlling parent is going to think about whatever you do or don't do or say or don't say. But if you can let other people, and there's no formula how to do this, I'm just saying, if you're in that situation where somehow, miraculously, you just say, oh, I'm sorry I said that, or I'm sorry I didn't do that, without any nothing added to it, no need for them to accept the apology, no need for them to own their part of it, then suddenly you can let go of the future, right? Because think about it, if another person isn't treating you with respect, or isn't giving you affection, or isn't valuing you, at least to the level that you want, but maybe not at all, then it's only natural that you might think, okay, what if I can get it somewhere else? What if I can get it from the boss, or the client, or getting followers on social media, or starting some online course where people pay me money and I don't even have to be there. The desire to be free from economic restraint, the desire to get praise, the desire to have that affirmation from the public sphere, I submit to you, it's all because we're trying to control another person, what another person thinks of us. And since we can't control that, we think, well, if I get lots of likes on Facebook or whatever social media platform, or if I'm making money, or if people are telling me I'm great, other people, then I don't need to worry about trying to control them. But technically, you are still trying to control them, but you're trying to control them by proxy, by some other measure that they aren't involved with. It doesn't make any sense to the rational brain. It's like, well, I get views or likes or money. It has nothing to do with them. Yeah, but it's in order to compensate for the fact that you still want to control them. The idea is if you let go of the need to control other people, you let go of the need to control the future, you let go of the need for affirmation, you let go of the exaggerated reaction to anything that reminds you of that person not respecting you. Perfect example. So someone doesn't respect you, someone close to you is not respecting you, not valuing you. And so then you transpose that onto some kind of occupation, right? Some kind of career where there's some respect. But then something comes up in that career where it's not quite as much respect as you thought. And looked at a certain way, it's the same kind of oppression that you had from that person. So then, you're no longer thinking about that person, frustrated with that person. You're frustrated with the career that's not giving you the escape from the fact that you couldn't control that person. Take the flip side of that. You're like, I don't need to control a person. I just simply apologize for what my part is. I have no need to control them. Then suddenly, your need to control the career, how you're compensated, or any of that, goes away. It doesn't mean you're a doormat. It doesn't mean you don't try to get, money or respect or whatever, but you're not attached to getting it. You don't need it because you're no longer trying to compensate for the fact that that person didn't give you what you wanted. And of course, we're talking about, probably in an intimate relationship, family, loved one, marriage situation. But really, it's just stemming from childhood trauma. Childhood where your parent didn't give you, or peer didn't give you, or sibling didn't give you something that you wanted. And so once you say, and it's no formula how to do it, but once you're able to say, look, I'm sorry for my part in it. I didn't give that parent what they needed to be happy. It wasn't my job, but clearly I didn't do what they needed me to do. And for that, I'm sorry. It'd be nice to have given them a little bit of joy in their life, right? A little bit of relief from their own inner turmoil. And that parent wanted to control me just as I'm trying to control this other person. If everyone could stop trying to control each other, and again, there's no formula how to do that, but if we could just let go of that need for anyone who's in the past, in the future, or in our present, to be any different than they are, then we are free.